The 2006 Ethiopia floods occurred on August 5, 2006. Torrential downpours led to the Dachautu River to burst its banks, causing serious flash flooding in the region of Dir Dawa. This rainfall has caused some of the heaviest flooding Ethiopia has ever seen. These rains caused water levels to reach maximum levels, overflow spillways, and flooded many downstream lowland areas. Heavy rainfall that can cause flooding typically happens 4 months a year in Ethiopia. This rainy season is typically between June and September. The regions that were impacted from the flood were countrywide due to excessive rainfall in the Ethiopian highlands. Heavy rains across the country have seen further flooding in South Omo Valley, Dir Dawa, Amhara, Afar, Somali, Tigray, Gambela, and Oromia regions. There seem to not have been many anthropogenic factors that affected the frequency or magnitude of flooding. However, uncontrolled deforestation and the expansion of farmlands have induced soil erosion and land degradation that has caused damage to the environment. This has been the root cause for constantly increased sediment load over the years in Ethiopia rivers.
The August 6, 2006 Dachautu River burst killed at least 350 people, with an additional 300 reported as missing. The devastating floods altogether left almost 20,000 people homeless in eastern Ethiopia. Thousands of people living in the flooded areas had little shelter or food and were exposed to terrible weather conditions and had a high risk of contracting diseases. Normal life was greatly interrupted due to the floods. Business and commerce was largely at a complete halt due to the severe flooding that occurred in Ethiopia. By August 2006, 8 out of the 11 regions in Ethiopia were affected by flooding. People were forced to abandon their homes, businesses, and livelihoods and seek shelter with relatives or in public buildings such as schools, churches, and camps across Ethiopia. Traditional wells were contaminated or collapsed, and latrines were destroyed or damaged. Thousands of buildings and homes were destroyed, and there was millions of dollars of infrastructure damage. The heavy rainfalls are usually helpful to Ethiopian agricultural and migration practices. However, such severe flooding killed livestock and destroyed large areas of farmland. Small farmers were among those most affected by the flooding, and the amount of damage was so severe that the Ethiopian government sought outside aid to assess and deal with the damages. The Red Cross states that the situation in Ethiopia was marked by rapid change in the priorities of the affected population, whose coping mechanisms may have reduced, but whose stamina and determination to regain their lost resources, lands, and livelihoods drove them to return to repair and rehabilitate their homes and agricultural land. The priority in many flooded areas was to prepare for the critical planting season at the end of September and to prepare themselves for the future. The Associated Program on Flood Management states that integrated water resources management in Ethiopia is not at an advanced stage. The main flood control and management activity being carried out in the country is in the Awash River Basin. The Amibara Irrigation Project is a flood protection scheme of dikes constructed to keep farms safe from flood damages. The Addis Ababa administration have prepared a flood protection scheme including structural and non-structural activities to be implemented over the course of 15 years. The structural intervention include the construction of retaining walls and dikes and the improvement of river channels. Non-structural plans include reforestation and proper zoning concerning settlements close to the streams and giving early warnings. Ethiopia is used to experiencing large amounts of rainfall. However, community leaders state that the magnitude of the flooding in 2006 was unprecedented. The Ethiopian Red Cross Society stated that the community coping mechanisms had already been stretched severely after a decade of climatic shocks where the rains either did not come at all or came in floods, causing destruction and the loss of lives. Poor hygiene and sanitation practices also had a severe impact on Ethiopian residents, so organizations such as the Red Cross provided residents with tools and access to clean water to prevent diseases. Something that we found interesting during our research of the 2006 Ethiopian floods is that a lot of the more detailed information was difficult to find. We believe that this is due to Ethiopia being an undeveloped country. We hope that in the near future, more underdeveloped countries such as Ethiopia receive more attention and resources that more westernized countries have access to.